Hi, and welcome to today's Word of Faith. We're just laughing because there's a joke about a camel and a needle. Anyway, we'll tell you about that. A camel about passing. Anyway, Karibuni, we're still talking about, rather expounding on the parables of Jesus. There's so many. And we'll be doing that exclusively throughout the next few weeks or even months, depending on how we go. Today we are going through a very interesting parable, one about our mindsets, parable of the new wineskins. And that's what we're going to be hearing in the next few minutes.
Yeah, first of all, let me say thank you for having me here. Such an honor.
Ah, you're welcome.
Kuwa nikikuona kwa mtandao, and then I was like, oh, I wish I would have this opportunity.
Yeah.
So is this where people give like the acceptance speech? Unajua kuanga wame.
Yeah, lazima uangalie chini hivi. This is where usually an ad runs.
An ad runs, but it's good to be in this conversation. This week, as you've said, I've been thinking about the parable of the new wine into old wineskins. And the heart of this scripture is Jesus teaching us about constantly seeking ourselves out of that which is old to get to the place of new.
Yeah.
And when Jesus is talking about the wine, he uses the example of a wine because when the wine is new, it has the capacity to bulge out. It's expanding and growing and bulging out. But he's juxtaposing that with putting that new wine which is bulging and saying that you're putting it into an old wineskin, and that which is old is shrinking and dying. So the picture that we see here is Jesus is saying you cannot put that thing which is expanding into a thing that is shrinking. So what happens is that every time we are trying to access new dimensions, we must constantly fight the old perspectives. And the quick example that comes to mind is if you want to get into the next level of starting that company, you want to be the managing director, you want to be the CEO, you must be willing to shift your mind or to grow your mind out of the mind of the street. Because your operations will be in the boardroom. You cannot take the mind of the street into the boardroom. The boardroom is your new place. The street is where you're coming from, but you cannot place the place where you're coming from into the new place. So Jesus is using the wine to show us about the danger of being in new while still having an old mindset.
That's interesting because when your mind is in the street, then that means it is not growing because it's constantly in the street. And you can sit, it's in our shags we call them buroti. When you're sitting in the buroti and you're talking, the only thing you're talking about is constant. Talking about politics, what Uhuru did. So your mind is not growing. But once you enter into the boardroom, your mind needs to grow because the environment there is dynamic. It's vibrant. The economy is growing. People are coming in, people are going. So then you need to, as you're saying, change that mindset and have one that is growing. Because
Powerful. And I like what you've said. I don't want to miss that. You've said that in the streets, we are only concerned about routine conversations. It's like zero grazing.
Exactly.
Zero grazing is where the cow just moves around 360 and doesn't make any movement. But when you're getting into the set, and we are using the boardroom and the street as examples, as images to communicate what we are saying. But when you get to the boardroom, as you're saying, it's a dynamic place. Interactions with people who think differently as you are, new spaces, new conversations, and that's the new place. Now imagine taking zero grazing mentality into a dynamic place.
It can never work.
It's really chaos. It's really chaos. So how have you seen people? Would you have examples in your life or in the lives of your friends who are constantly bombarded with this zero grazing mentality, and yet God is calling them to higher levels?
To higher levels.
I keep seeing this in relationships, by the way.
Thank you for bringing up relations, but my example is totally unrelated to relationships. But I mean that could be one of the topics that we
need to review that.
We'll revisit that conversation. One of them is quite new, actually. A friend of mine is looking for a house. So let's call that friend Maxwell, for example. So Maxwell wants to buy a car, he wants to move. He wants to elevate his life, basically. But then the house that he's looking for is based on what he has at the moment. And you know, as you're moving out, you're growing. If you had a bed sitter, then you're moving into a one bedroom, then it means you need a couch. But he's looking for a one bedroom because that's the old mindset that he has. So we are challenging him to look for a bigger house. One that will only have his bed at the start, at the beginning, but then because he is growing, there is space for growth. It's not like the old wineskin that is constantly shrinking.
And that space for growth is important.
It's important.
Let me hit on some toes right now, and I know I might get in trouble. Space for growth is important. And allow me to just talk about that relationship thing.
Please go ahead.
So that, and I hope I'm not changing anything in your show so that you invite me again.
No. I'll give disclaimers afterwards.
Disclaimers,
by all means, go ahead.
It is sad that someone is in a new relationship and they are still talking about their ex.
Oh.
And I know I'm stepping on toes. This may not even attract traffic on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
That is, Maxi, God is positioning me with this person, but my conversations and the routines of my ways of engagement with the person who is my life right now are still centered on what my ex did. Still bringing the X factor into the new context. And I'm sharing this because some of my friends are in that step where they even break up with the person that God brought them to because they never went out of the X factor. And I bring that aspect because you're saying that God is constantly putting us in spaces of new growth, but we must constantly also move away from the place of the street. Maybe this is a conversation we need to pick up in the coming days.
Definitely.
But new wine, old wineskins, a thought that we all need to have. So thank you for hosting me today.
Oh no, thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for your thoughts. I know you illuminated some dark corners that people have on their minds. You know, you're pulling people out of their comfort zones, and that's something that we definitely need in this time and age. So asante sana. As we move on, you can just take on your posture, and I'd like to say thank you, Maxi, for your thoughts, and also for the blessings that you're speaking into the lives of many people through this word. Be blessed, have a good week, and God bless you. Baraka.